gentlemen, welcome to TV Talk here live on a Tuesday. It's just me, Josh Macuga. I tried to get a co-host. I'll be honest with everybody. David is with his family today. They took his young son to Disneyland, which is always fun, I guess, depending on how you look at Disneyland. Which, if you know me and you've you've watched me long enough, you know I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the happiest place on earth. I'm usually one of the happiest people on earth. But there's something about that place. I don't know. It's just, I wish that Mexican restaurant was the whole park, to be honest with you, because that place is pretty good. My road dog, Garrett Farney, in the chat. Grumpy Shaman, never seen you here. Jeremy Miller, MKS Songbird, Damon R1974. Great to see everybody. David couldn't be here. I asked people like Christian Harloff, Mark Ellis, Ken Knapsack, Roxy Stryer. I asked all of them to come and be on the show today. Sinead DeFries was my first ask. She could not make it, so here I am, just talking to you all fine people about TV and whatever else anybody wants to talk about. You want to talk about golf? You want to talk about football? You want to talk about, I don't know, fan-controlled racing that we just announced today? Go download the app. I'll put a link in here for everybody if you guys want to download the app and see what I do on a daily basis. This is my full-time job, working at Fan Controlled Sports and Entertainment, fcse.xyz. You guys can download the app, maybe get your face on a NASCAR on November 4th in Phoenix. We have I listened to you guys. First of all, sorry, you guys can super chat right here, help support the show. David and I split it at the end of every month. Sometimes it's enough to buy a tank of gas, depending on if you live in California. I guess it might not, because gas here is crazy expensive. Garrett Farney, the app is awesome. Thanks, brother. I'm basically running like a in-app sports book for the most part, which is a dream scenario for me, as well as just telling jokes on a daily basis, which again is a dream for me, and getting to work in sports. So yeah. David Yearwood, still miss the afternoons with Josh, Ken, and Amanda. Some good years. We did have a great show there for a couple of years. We had a great time. Like a lot of things, we Amanda and I left, and Ken has a lot of other things he's doing. I mean, Ken is basically Mr. Star Wars. He's the Star Wars legend. He's I don't know how to really describe the fact that I wouldn't trust anybody else talking about Star Wars than Ken Knapsack. That's what I would say. And Ken is a very busy guy. Obviously, he was with Mark Ellis in New York this weekend and doing a lot of stand-up. And Mark and Ken still talk every day for the most part. Our text thread is very lively at all times. So thank you. Jonathan Peck, good to see you. Mikey Lito, Bosch Legacy in theater? Really? I mean, it's coming October 20th, which is what, Friday? And I mean, I'm pumped for it. I know that it is a very small section of people that watch Bosch, and it's pretty much like the only like crime detective in a city show that I watch, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Does anybody else know? Like, it's not a what you would call a procedural, right? It's like a long procedural where they're going to catch the guy, or they might not. How Bosch Legacy season 1 ended, they definitely didn't catch the guy. That was one of the biggest cliffhangers ever. And as we go into season 2. So wait, Wednesday night, it's in theaters. Where are you going to see it, Mikey Lito? Tell me about where in theaters you're going to see it. I mean, I won't be able to go, but I mean, I'm sounds like an awesome time. Are you going to see like a special screening of Bosch Legacy? And if you guys don't watch Bosch, watch Bosch. If you don't watch Bosch, if you don't watch Bosch, it's okay. A Regal? Is this Regal have a location, Mikey Lita? Just giving me one word answers. Like, is there only one Regal that I know of? Is it in LA? I'm guessing it would be in LA because it's a fan screening. Got it. Okay. Well, good to know that Bosch is doing Deer Park, New York. Whoa. Okay, Bosch Legacy. I see you. Yeah, Damon R1974. I watched the first 3 seasons of Bosch. Loved it. Definitely want to start it back up. Yeah, you should. It's because Bosch Legacy on Freevee, and talk about. Listen, I don't know who owns Freevee, who's running Freevee. I thought for a second there was basically just Quibi 2.0, which nobody wants. But Freebie has had two awesome shows in Jury Duty and Bosch Legacy. I'm pretty sure Primo was Freebie, right? Was Primo on Freebie? Because Primo is the best comedy of the year, and it's not like new comedy of the year, and it's not close. Um, Pretty sure it's well, Amazon Prime. But I think Amazon Prime is Freebie, right? Yeah, Amazon Freebie. Why Amazon just doing free anyway? Yeah, Freebie is Amazon. Thanks, MKS Songbird. I appreciate it. Uh Grumpy Shaman said, I was watching it recently, but Lance died in that time and couldn't continue. I don't think Lance Riddick is in Bosch Legacy. I think he just ended in actual Bosch, right? Jesus Pena says, you're correct. I agree. Primo was the best comedy of the year. The two best comedies of the year, maybe, are on Freebie in Primo and Jury Duty. I'll come straight out and say it because I haven't seen a comedy outside the Barbie movie that I've laughed at consistently throughout every bit of that show. And Primo was that, and Jury Duty was that. Yeah. On Amazon, I was locked in for 10 hours every year. Yeah, dude. Because Bosch is the shit, man. And Reefism's right. I can't wait for season 2 of Bosch Legacy to start. Bosch Legacy crosses genre and boundaries because Amanda and I both love Bosch. And Garrett, if you haven't watched Bosch, me and the wife are looking for a new show to watch. What would be your recommendations? Well, we're talking about Bosch and Bosch Legacy, so I would handsomely recommend Bosch Legacy. Then and Bosch, you got to start with regular Bosch, and then you go into Bosch Legacy. So that's like 6 seasons of TV. That'll keep you entertained for a while. Then I would recommend Primo on Amazon Freebie if you haven't watched that. Then I would say go watch. You can watch Jury Duty if you haven't watched that. That's hilarious. I just started Warrior. I put it in the title of this video. I started Warrior basically because everybody in chat was just saying, hey, you have to watch Warrior. And I will give it up to MKS Songbird. And maybe, there was a bunch of people that were peppering me constantly week in and week out to watch Warrior. And you know what? I said it on the show and I'll say it again. Sometimes when people keep telling you to watch things over and over and over again, you're just like, you know what? I'm not going to watch anything because I don't want to give in to the people. It's sort of like all of the people that are like badgering Congress people to vote for a speaker when they don't want to vote for the people that they're doing. And so now our government's totally right. That one of those is very important. The other one is just me watching TV. You pick and choose how you want to stand on the soapbox that you stand on. Okay. But what I will say is thank you all for making me watch Warrior, for finally getting into watching Warrior. First of all, the fight scenes are awesome. Second of all, I haven't been that disgusted I'm on episode 6 of season 1. So I know there's 3 episodes out that I need to watch. Okay. I'm on episode 6 of season 1. This show in 6 episodes has more blood and guts and like hatchets to the skull and exploding faces from old guns and one of the better bottle episodes all year. Oh, Garrett, you should also watch Reservation Dogs on Hulu. It's an FX show. It's fantastic. It was, you got to get through the first season. It's a very entertaining first season, but the second and third seasons are just incredible television. But back to Warrior. Okay, first of all, 6 episodes in, 5.5, if you will. Okay, there is more blood, guts, and boobs in any show I've ever seen, and there's a ton of full frontal too. Which again, if that's your speed, great, But this is a Cinemax show. You can tell this has Banshee, but with heroin and like. It's one of those shows, you guys know those shows where Jeremy Miller, just hoping Warrior gets renewed for season 4. Didn't it already get renewed? Didn't it already get renewed? I thought it was. But there's a crazy fight in every episode, and there's usually at least one boob scene in every episode, a totally one sex scene in every episode. And yeah, there's a decent amount of opium in that. They're battling for it. But it's one of those shows, all the old timey shows, everybody's either really dirty, really sweaty, or really bloody. Like there's 3 things in those. It's like Deadwood. It's kind of like The Walking Dead, even though that's like considered the future. It's all these shows where they don't have running water basically and no air conditioning and everybody's just always fighting and sweaty and they got old beards and they're hanging out in bars that look like they haven't been cleaned ever. And if they were, it was like they used a dust cloth on an old wooden table and they're sitting there drinking warm beer, right? It's one of those shows. So it's meant to make you sick. It really is. It's meant to like make you feel a certain way. Not Rick Samoris. It's gritty. I think gritty is like the kindest word you could say about it because it's way more than gritty. It is like I don't know. I feel it's one of those shows where every time you're watching, like they all have syphilis. They they're all having sex with hookers and they've got syphilis, I think. You know, that's one of those shows where they're just like passing STDs around. I feel like that was the old West. How the human race survived all these years is a wild phenomenon in the sense that like it seems like all these shows they're just trading STDs and then just like coughing in each other's mouths. Nothing is clean ever. I mean, the amount of hand sanitizer I use on a daily basis and washing my hands and doing all those things compared to probably what they did back in the day when they would have like a glass of yellow water that may or may not have poisoned them is a wild thing, right? Reefism Warrior is based off a concept by Bruce Lee. I did not know that, and that's amazing. The main guy who plays Assam is awesome. And that one fight scene in the first episode with like the crazy good ninja from the other Tong, you know it's going to happen again. They got to come back because you saw in his face like, oh shit, this guy's better than me, right? We're going to see that again. Ross Bristow, David's at Disneyland with his family. So it's just me today. This is not going to be a long show. I don't know how long I can talk. I mean, if you guys want me to talk for a full hour, I can talk for a full hour. And I've done that before. I've done it for many hours at a time. But yeah. And the one thing that you realize about shows, if you guys ever want like a look inside what a TV show is like, what you really have to do is in shows like this, where every actor is basically a no-name. I haven't recognized one person in this show besides the guy from Banshee who plays like the guy that he's in Banshee, but he plays like the guy that I don't know what Tong he's in. It seems like he's in both Tongs, but he's the guy that stands in the soapbox and like finds Assam at the beginning of it. Ross Bristow at Disney, but he's not going to make an appearance, Jeremy. He's not going to be on the show. It's just me for this entire show. I never said he might make an appearance. I never said that, but I tried to get other people to co-host with me, but yeah, Dave Wen, Chow. Yes. Who is Job? Yes. In Banshee. Thank you very much. Hoon Lee. Thank you, MKS Songbird. I appreciate it. You guys are a great resource as I only have one hand. Jesus Pena, he works independently. Right. That's like the vibe I got. He kind of like crosses both sides. I don't know how that's a thing. Why is it only him that can do that? Why is he like the go-between? Is he like a freelance ninja guy? He's like, hey, this guy should be in your tongue, and then this guy goes this tongue, but don't worry, I play both sides. Kind of seems like a little finger. Is he like a little finger? Like, you can't really trust him, but he's always around with like, you shouldn't do that kind of stuff. One of the coolest episodes of TV ever, though, is the fifth episode, or maybe it's the fourth episode. Maybe the fifth is when they're on their way back through Nevada, and they stop in that saloon, and you realize for the first time, spoiler alert, in the show, that they don't know English except for Assam. So they're all speaking Chinese together. But we don't know that because we finally hear from a white person's point of view that they're speaking Chinese. Yeah, not Rick Samoris, the cowboy episode. Hoon Lee also appears on Bosch. When did he appear on Bosch? Did I miss that? But yes, the cowboy episode when they murder that whole group of great train robbers or stagecoach robbers. When that dude shoots that guy's face, and then they're in it's basically From Dusk Till Dawn with way less vampires. That movie sucked. Besides that crazy famous monologue by Cheech Marin. But that fight scene with the guns and everybody in that saloon, that's the kind of shit that takes weeks on end to choreograph. And that is awesome. And then the Native American prostitute comes back and she's a sick ninja too. But what the crazy turn of events, like I'm watching it and I'm going like, wait a second, this whole show, they've only been speaking Chinese to each other. So all of his buddies in his tongue don't know that he speaks English until he starts talking to the people in English. That was a mind-blowing thing. Talk about insanely good writing, knowing that 5 episodes into the show, you are going to get to the point where you're going to reveal to the audience that Assam knows English, but nobody else in the Tong knows that he knows English. That's crazy. That was awesome. So I mean, now I'm totally hooked on this show. But going back, you see a show like this and you realize how important casting is, because you don't know who any of these people are. None of them. But they're perfectly cast in every role. You've got the sweaty cop, who's the dirty cop, right? Who's Irish, and like the Irish gangsters know him and they've got him in his pocket. There's always going to be a dirty cop. And it seems like there's a ton of cops. Then you've got the guy from the South, like with that Civil War angle, which is rarely seen in TV. And then you've got the mayor, who again, I've never seen any of these people. The mayor's wife, the wife's dad. I mean, even his best friend, who's the son of the Tong leader. Never seen him in anything. Never seen any of these people in anything. And you can tell me they were in other stuff and I would trust you, but in shows that I have not seen, and I've seen a lot of shows, I've not seen all of them. So nobody has seen every show ever. Maybe they have. I don't know. That would be a hell of a lifestyle. But the casting, because the casting of the mayor, just like a squirrely dude that's into weird stuff, like great casting, right? The Buckley, his like main guy, the seedy dude, great casting. Jesus Pena, the Irish dude, is a badass. Yes, 100%. Leary, great badass. Every time there's a fight, there's just blood exploding everywhere. And there's so many fights. And this goes back to my problem with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is every time somebody gets punched by a fucking superhero, they don't bleed. Nobody's bleeding. There's like one scene where Iron Man bleeds, and it's like at the end of like they're fighting everybody ever. Kate Van D, great to see you. Jason Tobin, who plays the young Jun, was in Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. It's the only Fast and Furious I've never seen because everybody told me not to see it. And I didn't really start watching many of the Fast and the Furiouses until like they started not being really Fast and Furious and more of just like The Rock's going to punch a hole in Brazil kind of movies. But the casting is really incredible in the show because everybody is so well cast that like you see where all the seedy, creepy nature of it is. And especially with his, like the guy from Savannah, who's his partner, man, that guy he's a great actor. And we haven't been told why he moved to San Francisco yet, but eventually we'll get there. And I think I know why, but I don't want to predict anything because I don't want it to be some sort of, I don't want to like jump into a stereotype war here because all of a sudden I'll get canceled. So I'm not even going to effing say it, but I think I know why he moved to San Francisco. And I'll wait until we get to that part. But right now he's the only straight edge character in the show. And he might not even be anymore because he's like, well, I'm just going to look the other way while my cop partner is going to like just throw his life because he's a gambling addict and a drunk. And then he just like murdered a dude. Anyway, Jesse Roach, international pop star in the chat. Holy shit. We thought that Taylor Swift dating Travis Kelce was something. Wait till you see when Jesse Roach starts dating, I don't know who we got in the NFL right now that's like young and cool. Joe Burrow. Wait, I think he just got engaged. Jesse Roach. Give me a football player as an international pop star that you would date that would make sense on the level of Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Man, let's see. Anybody? Who is Jesse Roach? Should Jesse Roach be dating that as an international pop star in the NFL that would make sense? Or maybe we go NBA. Maybe she starts dating like Austin Rivers. No, not Austin Rivers. Austin Reeves. Maybe. Jesse. Jalen Hurts. Jerry Miller. LOL. Maybe. MKS Songbird. The show has some really well-written, developed characters as the series progresses. Well, I've noticed in the IMDb that everybody's in it for 20 episodes. So clearly nobody died, or 30 episodes. So 3 seasons, nobody has died yet of the main characters, which you don't start killing off main characters in a show like that for a minute. Like, you know, I mean, unless you're Game of Thrones and you're like, oh, everybody's dead. 2 seasons. Nope. And more people die. Oh, keep making. Ooh, Justin Herbert, Jonathan Peck, Justin Herbert, and Jesse Roach. I like it. Troy, I'm a couple minutes behind here, but in the first episode of Warrior, there is indeed a transitional scene that showed they were speaking Chinese. The first scene also shows Assam speaking English. Is it? Is it? Jesse Roach says, LOI, take anyone nice with a good job at this point. Well, I can't vouch for their personalities, but guys in the NFL make a lot of money. That's a pretty good job. They might get hurt a lot, but Jerry Miller, Herbert has hair that women love. Has that hair women love. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, red is not a flavor. CJ Stroud, manifest that. Jesse Roach, you've got your own NFL Tinder right here on TV Talk Live every single Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, and then whatever times. Troy, thanks for catching that. I never caught that, I guess. Maybe I wasn't paying close enough attention to it, but it has taken 5 episodes for his best friend in the Tong to realize that he speaks English, which, again, was a very cool scene. A super cool scene, and I love this show. Troy, the in-betweener guy, actually tells Assam to not reveal that he speaks English. No, Troy, I understand that whole thing. I listen to that. What I'm saying is I didn't realize that when he's speaking English to the other people in English, that they're actually speaking Chinese. So the people that don't understand Chinese are hearing them in Chinese, but we hear them in English because they speak English for us, the audience. That's what I was getting at. Oh, Jesus Pena, Micah Parsons for Jesse Roach. Okay. Jesse Roach, I love you manifesting this for me. You're a good friend. I try, Jesse. That's what I do. I'm a matchmaker. I'm a connector of people. I'm I don't know. I'm just trying to have some fun here. Listen, it's not worth it if we're not having fun, right? You can't wake up every day and be miserable if that's how you want. I mean, if you want to live like that, it's okay. But if you're not having fun, why do it? Right? Why do anything? Jonathan Beck, hey Josh, I need your help with this. Have you seen the stand-ups of Nate Bargatze? The reason I asked because he just recently announced to host SNL on Halloween. My sister asked me who he is. Yes, Jonathan Peck. I've watched all of his stand-up. I've met him in person a few times. I've been at the Comedy Store with him. He's just like me, loves sports, calm dude. I mean, he's a lot funnier than me, obviously. He likes golf, he likes sports. He's just a dude, and his comedy is hilarious. His delivery is amazing. He's one of my favorite stand-ups working today. I don't know how a lot of times when stand-ups come on SNL, they do a pretty great job. But SNL is a different beast where sometimes great stand-ups aren't great actors, and SNL, because it happens so fast, and if you don't memorize your lines and or really work through the scenes to get it, it might be a miss. But everything he has done up to this point doesn't leave me with the fact that like I trust that he'll do an amazing job. SNL anymore is so hit and miss. This one back this week, the Pete Davidson as the host was pretty good. I feel like there's a lot of sketches on SNL now that are like so filler that they're not even. I don't understand the point of them. Like if you're not trying to further a character or build some kind of a world in each sketch, like the 3 dudes in The Office that are the writers and now they have is like they're always in a sketch. Those guys are hilarious because we have like over time they have built themselves up as these people. And all of their sketches are off the wall and hilarious. Whereas like the sketch with the girl as the secretary in like the 1950s Office, what is the point of that sketch? Like there didn't even have an end. And that's what a lot of SNL has become. And I know they're kind of hamstrung with it being live on stage and, you can only do so much, but it's tough. It's tough. Jesse Roach says, Nate is super funny. His delivery and facial expressions really get me. Yeah, he's great. Jeremy Miller, have you seen Lessons in Chemistry yet with Brie Larson? No, I haven't. Where is that? I don't know. I haven't even heard of it. I've seen Brie Larson in like a thing, but I haven't seen any of that. Troy, my 2 favorite things on SNL are Keenan doing anything and Colin getting roasted on Update. Yeah, the fact that Keenan is still on that show, honestly, if I was him, they'll never fire him, and he's definitely like the funniest dude on the show consistently. Jerry Miller, Apple TV just released. Okay, I'll check it out. Have you guys watched it? Is it any good? Sell it to me. When you guys pop in the chat, first of all, throw in a super chat. It helps support the show. Or you can on the pin thing, you can do a stream lab, and I'll get to those as well. It's sell me on the show. Don't if I haven't seen it, be like, all right, it's this, and then because David will sell me on the show, and I know you guys want to throw in the chat, like tell me what I'm missing, right? I want to know because there's so much TV. Sell me on it because a lot of times trailers don't sell me on anything. I'll be honest. The art of the trailer is I know what it's for and I know what I'm getting a lot of times, but then I watch the show and it's like sometimes trailers are great, sometimes they're terrible. For instance, there's a show called Teenage Bounty Hunters on Netflix, and I don't know if you can still get it on Netflix, but I would say it is the greatest one season of television next to Freaks and Geeks that TV has ever produced. And it had the worst trailer I've ever seen of a show that was nothing like the trailer, and actually an incredible show. Yeah. So yeah. Troy, I feel like the vibe is Colin landed Scarlett Johansson, so he can't complain about anything. Yeah, that's true, Troy. I wouldn't complain either. Yeah, red is not a flavor. Keenan can be on SNL to the end of time. I think so too. Kate Van D. I enjoyed the new Loki season so far. The only MCU thing I've seen all year. Kate Van D. I put it in the title of the show. I'm not gonna watch Loki. Again, you can't keep giving me these timelines. I'm over it. I'm done. I can't do another show about timelines. I can't. I tried to watch I tried to watch I watched the first season of it, and then I realized like at the end I was like, oh no, not a time thing. And I said it last week and I'll say it again. I'm not going to watch any more time stuff. So I'm done. Exotic Geeks. Josh, it's been a while since the night show. Have you seen Strange New Worlds? I have not seen Strange New Worlds. I don't know what it is, and I don't know what the night show is. Since the night show? MK Songbirds. Anybody's into Ken Burns documentaries, I definitely recommend the American Buffalo 2-part doc that just released, Essential American History. Where is that? When you put things in chat, you got to tell people where they are. There's a new rule here on TV Talk. If anybody hasn't seen it, Ken Burns documentary, tell people where they are. More than likely PBS. I don't know. Does PBS stream? Do they have a streaming thing? I don't know. Yeah, Victor Pavey. Have you watched the new season of American Horror Story? No. Nobody should be watching American Horror Story. The fact that people are watching American Horror Story and the fact that it keeps getting made is the worst part. It's the worst. Horror sucks. It's awful. It's the worst genre of all time. Nobody likes it. Nobody should like it. It's stupid. I hate it. There you go. And listen, that's not joking. It's awful. It's trash. It's garbage. And it's worse than wrestling. I'll say that straight up. I'd rather watch sweaty men in Speedos fake wrestle each other than I would ever watch a horror movie. The show with your guest. Oh, your channel name. That show. Oh yeah. The Josh Macuga show. You mean? Yeah. It's been a minute since I lived in that apartment. It's been almost 4+ years, I think. But it was a great time, and some of those episodes are still up there. But no, I have not watched. What show did you recommend before? Have you watched Strange New Worlds? Anybody know what Strange New Worlds? Victor Pavey, have you watched Foundation season 2? Victor Pavey, I saw the trailer for Foundation season 1, and that was a no-go for me. David is going to be your futuristic sci-fi guy. I am not the sci-fi guy. I'm not the superhero guy. I'll watch some of them. I tried to watch Gen V. I watched the first 2 seasons of The Boys, was over it after 2 seasons. Not for me. If you want TV opinions on great comedies and some really good dramas and the occasional docuseries, which I will most definitely watch, and then sports, of course, I will give it to you. But when it comes to things like that, like I watched the Lord of the Rings TV show, and I really liked it. I thought it was really good. But I know a lot of like diehard Lord of the Rings fans didn't love it. And that's probably where we digress, because I didn't read the books and I didn't care. I don't care if it's like true to something. If it's exciting, if it's good, like it. I mean, the people that say, "Oh, it's the Game of Thrones isn't true to the books." Well, so what? The most of that show was incredible, And until like they were kind of rushed to finish it, which sucks, which really and truly, if you look at what Game of Thrones did, and here's a hot take. If you look what Game of Thrones did, what Benioff and Weiss should have done was stepped back and just been consultants. Okay. They could have looked at scripts. They could have had other writers do a bunch of stuff. They could have literally hired the world. George R.R. Martin did them no favors at all. And maybe they didn't talk to George R.R. Martin. I don't know. But what they should have done and what could have done was really take their time or hire more people. They were spending millions of dollars an episode. What's a few more million? Everybody was watching it anyway. And so you could have really done fans better than what that was, right? I just, there's doing fan service and then there's doing like, I don't know. It's not placating the fans. I don't know what it is, but what they did was just wrong. It really was. For her to get on that dragon and burn down all of Westeros, like maybe she gets there and she's like, I don't really want this. And then she murders Cersei and Jaime and just like brings down the keep. And then she's like, all right, I'm out. I'm going to go live beyond the wall with my road dog, Jon Snow, and we're going to bang and make babies. I mean, everybody's having incest in that show anyway. There's just a lot that could have been done. And I know she was blind and she wanted the throne and they killed her best friend and all that kind of stuff. But at this point, it's like bombing civilians. Like, you don't need to do that. You're killing babies and kids, and they don't even like the Lannisters. They don't even like them. Half the people that live in the kingdom don't like the king. That's like everything. Exotic Geeks says Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Exotic Geeks, I'll be honest, never seen 1 minute of a Star Trek show in my life. Never seen one. Exotic Geeks, I still have your horror react videos. I laugh when I'm down, but I get why you don't like horror. Thanks, Exotic Geeks. I appreciate that. Mikey Lito, since you mentioned comedy, what do you think of Only Murders in the Building? Watched the first season of Only Murders in the Building. Loved it. Watched the first 3 episodes of season 2, and I was over it. I think it was just so brilliant that first season, and then I just didn't want to see another case and another case. And maybe I'll go back to it. Maybe I'll like restart season 2. It's sort of like what I did with Reservation Dogs, and I was so thoroughly enjoyed Reservation Dogs that I'm glad that I went back to it. Victor Pavey, Archer might be one of the smartest written shows of all time. I've only watched like the first 3 seasons, but it's genius. And H. John Benjamin is the greatest voice actor of a generation, maybe. He's good in literally everything he does. It's incredible, and his voice is so funny. Him and Bob's Burgers, Archer. I mean, the guy can do no wrong. Not Rick Samora said the Wheel of Time is diverting to the books. I've never read a Wheel of Time book, and I don't know if I'll watch the show. Nothing about like a trailer or anything that anybody has pitched me on Wheel of Time has done that. And like these sweeping epics like Lord of the Rings, I only can really take one per year. I didn't like Dune, right? I don't know. It's just so much. It's kind of like Ahsoka. Like I went on the rant last week about it, and I was just, why leave him on? I don't need to go back into it. But I will say what this chat has done and what bringing back TV Talk has done has gotten me into Warrior. And so I thank you for that, because without you guys yelling at me to do Warrior, I wouldn't have gone and done Warrior. So thank you. What else did I name this show? Dark Winds. Okay. If you haven't watched Dark Winds, not Rick Morris, that's a fair rant. Is it about Ahsoka? I'm sure. Listen, my buddy Ken Knapsack loves most things Star Wars, and so do I. I'm probably one of the few that loves loved the Obi-Wan show because there was Darth Vader and friggin' lightsabers. I love that stuff. A lot of people didn't like it. I loved Andor. I liked the first few seasons of Mandalorian. I didn't watch Boba Fett because I never understood why people liked him so much. But Ahsoka, I was so looking forward to this because literally every Star Wars person I know is like, just wait for Ahsoka. Just wait for Ahsoka. And I waited for Ahsoka, and I wasn't like, man, it's awesome. But back to Dark Winds. Dark Winds is one of the best dramas, and I will say, like, man, doing anything in the Native American space is very, very interesting. And, it's a segment of our population that is critically, man, it's like, as a white person, I'm in no place to say anything about anything, really, when it comes to Native Americans. But what was done to them, um, in our history is, I mean, a tragedy unlike anything else in the history of. I mean, it's absolutely disgusting. But these shows about their culture and the murders and like bringing to life some of the things on the reservation and what life is like there, pretty important TV, and also extremely entertaining in a way that I didn't know that I had and wanted from a TV show. So um, I can't recommend Dark Winds enough, and I'm glad they got a season 3. Although season 2 did end like it was ending the series, so I'm interested as to where this goes in season 3 and beyond. If they do a season 4, I mean, the first season was 7 episodes, the second season was 6 episodes, so it's very like quick. They're quick seasons. Um, so yeah, Jerry Miller, Killers of the Flower Moon releases this Friday. I hope it's handled well. Yeah, one of the main actresses there, I think, who plays what appears to play Leonardo DiCaprio's wife or love interest, is in seasons 2 and 3 of Reservation Dogs. I mean, it's Martin Scorsese. I don't think he's gonna. I mean, he doesn't do many things wrong, right? As much as I mean, 2 of my favorite movies all time are Scorsese movies. So Jesse Roach, what do you think about Yellowstone finally coming back? I've really cooled on it the last couple of years, but the spinoffs are great. Loved 1883. Loved 1923. Loved the show. I don't know what this final season is going to look like. I don't know where Yellowstone goes from here. I understand that it's been trending because a lot of people that haven't had it on Paramount uh, are um, are finally seeing it on CBS. So, um, yeah, yeah. Jerry Miller, Lily Gladstone. Yes, correct. Thank you. I've loved Yellowstone, but I'm kind of with you. Like the last couple, I'll be honest, the Beth storylines are just so over the top. Like, and the brother who's like the crappy brother, Wes Bentley. I don't really care anymore. I love Casey's storyline. John Dutton, like getting elected to governor and not really wanting to be the governor is wild to me. And then, the whole storyline about not developing Montana it's the whole show, really. And it's just gotten, I don't know, it's a lot of retreading like over and over again. It kind of felt like, and Succession is an amazing show. It's one of the greatest shows ever made. And I will say that, and not many people that if you watch Succession are going to argue with me, but it really felt like the whole show was, who's going to get the company? Fuck off. Who's going to get the company? Fuck off. Who's going to get the company? Fuck off. The show ends. That's really and Jesse Roach has best. It has gotten monotonous to me. Yeah. Right. Cause it's a lot of just the same episode over and over again. Right. And that's soap opera TV. And you can't, there's very, very few shows with that kind of popularity that have really pulled off the later seasons well and known when to end it. And I will tell you, 2 shows from the same person are it. Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, and they're the same things, and it's Vince Gilligan. Um, and so, yeah, Jerry Miller, I feel like Yellowstone would benefit from being on HBO. I mean, maybe. I don't know if HBO. I mean, it's Paramount Plus. They can sort of do the same things that you can do on HBO. So yeah. Josh, have you seen Upload from Amazon Prime? I have not. Tell me what it is. I've never even heard of it. Jesse Roach, Succession was fantastic, but ultimately nothing changed. And that's a real window into these people's lives. They are so detached from reality and real people problems. Yeah, I think that's a pretty solid observation. I think that's well done. MKS Songbird, cannot wait to see what Gilligan does next with his series with Rhea Seehorn. Yeah, me too. Because Rhea Seehorn was an absolute just I mean, she was everything in that show, right? Jesus Pena, Wes Bentley character gets treated like an adopted son. Well, he is. That's pretty funny. Well done. Well done. I like that. We've got I'm only going to stay on for another like 10 minutes, not having David here, but I appreciate everybody in chat, so thank you. Jonathan Peck, with my birthday coming out in 2 days, can you wish me a happy birthday, Josh? Jonathan Peck, happy in birthday, man. Just go out there and treat your birthday like Shark Week. Just go out there, wrestle sharks, fight alligators, blow out some candles, have some beers, have some drinks, maybe do some karaoke. You know what I mean? Maybe fight all the way to Mordor and throw a ring in some fire. Maybe start selling meth and become the greatest meth dealer of all time, all in one day. You never know what can happen. It's your birthday, bud. It's your birthday. Okay. And I think at the end of the day, if you've done all those on your birthday, you've lived a pretty good birthday. Okay. October, it'll be October 19th. It's a hell of a birthday. 19, good number. Treat every birthday not like it's your last, but like it's your first. Okay. Meaning go to your parents' house and trash it with a cake because your parents treated your first birthday like it was a super party and then you smushed your face in a cake. And you guys should do that. Scott Welsh throwing that in there. Happy early birthday. Boom. Exotic Geeks liking it. Jay Peck for real. Hit it. I'm going to leave you guys on this. I wanted to talk about, because David's not here, I wanted to talk about some of my favorite comedy pilots. So I wrote some down and I want you guys to maybe give me some of your, so these are some of the more recent comedy pilots that I have loved. And these are some of the ones, I mean, maybe the last 20 or so years that have roped me in from the pilot on. Like the pilot got me like this. And there are some that are okay. And I keep watching because I'm like, okay, I can see where this is going. This is pretty entertaining. But then there's some pilots that like, I'm going to watch this show until the end. Okay. Fresh Off the Boat. One of the better sitcom pilots in the last 10 years. Just awesome. Highly recommend Fresh Off the Boat if you've never watched. 30 Rock. Maybe the funniest sitcom pilot ever. Seriously. If you never watched 30 Rock, do yourself a favor. It's better than The Office. It's better than Parks and Rec. It's smarter. It's funnier. It's just the better show. It never got the acclaim of The Office and Parks and Rec, but 30 Rock is the better show. I'll stand on my soapbox and say it. I'll say it right now. Avengers Endgame stunk, and 30 Rock is the best comedy in the 30 Rock Parks and Rec thing. I'll tell you what's not funny and great pilot is the Seinfeld pilot. It's not very good. And I just lost people watching because I insulted Avengers Endgame again. I'll say it. You can say what you want. Community is a fantastic pilot. That one got me roped in right away. Never Have I Ever on Netflix. Fantastic. Teenage Bounty Hunters. I mentioned it twice on this show already. Haven't talked about it in a long time. Teenage Bounty Hunters. Do yourself a favor. And Jesse Roach said it. They're in my list too. Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Schitt's Creek had me hooked from day one. Boom. She's right. Nailed it. Jesse Roach, international pop star, has been on fire today. She just wants a boyfriend who's nice and has a job. How hard is that? She's an international pop star. Is it because you're intimidating, Jesse Roach? Is it because you're an international superstar? I can see that. Jeremy Miller, New Girl, great pilot, hilarious. New Girl, talk about like people that came into their own as characters and then became so famous that they didn't want to do the show anymore. There are some crazy stories from the set of New Girl in like the last season and a half where none of the actors wanted to be on the show anymore. None of them. And my friend was a director on the show, so I know that these are true stories. Not Rick Morris. I like the pilot of Stark Raving Mad, Freddie and the Wedding Band, but no one watched it. I've never even heard of Stark Raving Mad. I don't even know what you're talking about. The Always Sunny in Philadelphia pilot, hilarious. The Office and Parks and Rec have amazing pilots. I'm not saying they're bad episodes, bad shows, or anything like that. I love both those shows. I'm saying 30 Rock's a better show. Dairy Girls on Netflix, hilarious. Primo, I've mentioned a billion times in this show. Primo is the best comedy of 2023. Abbott Elementary, a fantastic pilot. The Other Two, one of the funniest shows made that nobody watched on Max. Pen 15, Creepy, weird, hilarious. Veep, probably the quickest written, like quickest meaning funniest, most jokes per capita in TV history, I think. Party Down got me right away. And the best pilot, the best comedy pilot ever made, and it's not close, is Detroiters. Not many people watched it. It only had 2 seasons. And Tim Robinson's I Think You Should Leave is the more popular show because of Netflix and whatever. And they should, and because Comedy Central has no idea what to do with their programming, they haven't for a long time. Thanks, Viacom, for not getting into the streaming wars or doing anything with your content, and just doing shitty shows on MTV and Comedy Central and VH1. But Detroiters was the greatest 2 seasons of television, maybe ever. Maybe ever. Well, I will go down. That's the kind of comedy that gets me from 2 minutes into the pilot, 3 minutes into the pilot. It is silly, insane, and perfect, and so well written, and just it's comedy at its finest. I've never been the person that's like, oh, you know what? That's a pretty smart comedy. That's where you get me. I'm out. I don't need it. I don't need smart comedies. I want stupid shit to laugh at. Okay. Jesus Payne, Chili Dogs for Breakfast. Hilarious. Okay. Rick Samurais, Stark Greg Mad starred Tony Shalhoub and Neil Patrick Harris. Wow. I honestly have never heard of it. Never even heard of it. Victor Pavey, I have watched the documentary about Jewel. Very entertaining. Jesse Roach, I love you. No, it's my pleasure to hype you up. Jonathan Peck, Arrested Development, you are correct. Well done. All right. You know what? I promised you guys a TV talk on a Tuesday. David couldn't do it. None of my friends could join me, so I did it. Thank you all for, Jerry Miller reminds me, Workaholics had a great pilot. That show did have a great pilot. And that show, again, was Comedy Central's last good show. Pretty sure. There was that like company one, the one with Lance Reddick. What was that one? It's like Company Men or like Incorporated. Anybody know what I'm talking about? That was a pretty funny show too, but I only watched a couple episodes. Comedy Central does not make their content easily findable. It doesn't. You got to really search or still have cable to get it. And that's a real bummer. Because Detroiters, man, not enough people saw that show. Thanks everybody for joining me, just me. Next week, David will be back. And then the week after is Halloween. So we're not going to have a show on Halloween, but maybe we'll do a makeup show that week. So hopefully we do that. Mikey Lita said, did you see the pilot of Mr. Wonderful with Matthew Perry? No, but did see the pilot of Go On, which is actually kind of funny with Matthew Perry. Never saw Mr. Wonderful though. You can tune in, subscribe to the channel, tell your friends about it. You know, mention in the comments other things that we should watch or can watch or any kind of lists you want us to do. I have a bunch of lists that we're going to get to that David and I are going to do over the course of the next 10 to 12 weeks, whatever the case may be. Detroiters streaming on Paramount Plus. Let's go, MKS Songbird. Way to track it down. That's what we're here for. Get out there. Be kind to everybody. It's way easier to love than hate. Find the good. Call somebody, text them, tell them you love them. It matters. Thanks, Troy, for reminding me. My of the week is 100% Teenage Bounty Hunters. I've mentioned it. This is the Teenage Bounty Hunters episode. I'll say it. Go watch it on Netflix. It's fantastic. If you don't like it, come at me. It's fine. I've been wrong about things before, but I'm very positive I'm not wrong about this one. Stop watching scary stuff and put down the book, pick up the remote. I'm going to keep talking until I put this background up, and then I'm going to talk over it. And then we're going to end this stream as I talk over the end. Again, it's really nice to see everybody.